not sure if I'm live yet. Just give me a second. Check 1 2 1 2 3. Okay. As soon as I get like 2 or 3 people in here, I'll start. Okay. We got 3 people in here. Let's start the stream. Just gonna make sure you guys can see this. Okay, this is gonna be the market outlook for this second week of January. Let's just make sure that it shows my screen. Just gonna make sure you guys can see this. Okay, perfect. Mic's not too loud. I'm on the daily time frame right now, so we're gonna start again. Clean slate every week. You want to delete everything that's on your chart just so you guys don't actually accidentally blindside yourself to anything, because there could be something that you're missing completely, and if you keep the confluences that were on your chart from the last week, you might continue going into the week with a wrong bias. Okay, so on the weekly, there actually are some significant things. So first of all, this weekly fair value gap. This is going to be the nearest weekly confluence that we have. There's going to be this bullish fair value gap that was closed under and then above twice. So, I mean, I wouldn't really even look at this one. It still looks like market is respecting it right here with the bodies. But I think that we're going to be drawing towards this fair value gap again. And then we also have these 2 bearish candles, which if you're studying ICT, so bearish candles, and once it comes up above the high, so in this case it came up above the high right there, these 2 bearish candles, this is a change in the state of delivery. In other words, it's just called an order block. Like, this is now a bullish confluence that you can use. It's not a high probability one, because high probability order blocks, so let me mark it out. So pretend like these 2 are bearish candles, right? And then we get one bullish candle that comes up above them. These 2 are now going to be order blocks. And if market was to come back in it, like this, then you could use the order block to go higher, right? As long as it just taps above the high. But this doesn't make it high probability. What makes it high probability is if it prints another bullish candle, and in between this bullish candle and this bearish one, I guess I can't do it because I was slightly off. But if the wicks aren't overlapping, then there is a fair value gap. And if there's a fair value gap after the order blocks, then we have a high probability bullish like confluence, right? We can aim for higher targets, right? So in this case, what we are looking for is obviously just going to be the draw to this. But since we don't have that yet on the weekly time frame, where we get another expansion leg and then get a fair value gap, then we can trade from the order block to go higher, we're just going to stick to the daily. Okay, but this is already another bullish confluence that we can use. I'm going to be looking for expansion this week towards buy side again. So one of the things that I said earlier this week inside of the Telegram, it's probably actually pretty far away. Yeah, it's gonna be from like last, who knows when. November? No. Anyways, what I was saying is that the Trump news about the inauguration, where he's officially in office, is going to be a bullish news for like NASDAQ and crypto, and it's going to be a bearish news for gold. As you guys can see, just from these 3 bearish weeks that we got, it was literally when Trump got officially elected. And I'm expecting yet another bearish move, and that's towards the end of this month, where his inauguration is. I think it's on January 25th. So I'm going to be watching out for some sell side, like when that happens. But until then, we want to be inside of some confluence that will actually push price lower. So I still think that we have room for buy side. I'm going to continuously target buy side, potentially 2686. And if we go to the daily, there's another fair value gap higher right here. So this is the weekly one. Let's just lower the opacity on this. And then there's another daily one, which all the candles have been respecting so far. I'm not sure what is making some noise. Sounds like a kettle's going off. Anyways, this daily one also has yet to be disrespected both of these times that it tapped in. First of all, it tapped in right here, and then it ran like crazy. Second time, third time, it already respected it 3 times. This could be a good target for us, like running up here, closing above it for the first time. And then we also have this fair value gap that we tapped into this week and melted off from. So when we did that, we also left some room for this right here. So starting from the daily time frame, remember, we have the weekly target up here. I'm just going to check one more time that my audio is good. Drop a comment if the audio is decent enough. Okay, you guys can't hear that noise. Just me. Asia Fujimono. Happy Sunday, Daniel. I think I do have something in the longest video that we have, which is the Mastermind one. And if not, I'll make another one for you guys. Weekly FEG. So this is the weekly FEG, this light gray one, and then this is a daily fair value gap with these highs that we might be targeting after we get confirmation. And then going into, so this is bearish, right? We ran from it last week after tapping into it. This was a target for us for a few weeks, except for the fact that I didn't want like it to pull back. So I had a really good positions, like somewhere from 2602 and stuff, like down here that I was swinging, but I went break even because I was literally up like a few $1,000s, and then it ran down and tapped me out because I just didn't expect it to run back in. Like there was no fair value gaps in this leg. It was just this daily fair value gap that it was respecting. Just tapped back into it and then ran higher, which is fine. And now we're going to be looking for that expansion potentially from here. So just like I mentioned on the weekly time frame. So let's take a look at that again right here. 2 order blocks, a fair value gap in between them. That makes it a high probability setup. This is what I'm seeing that will likely unfold on the weekly. But if we go to the daily, what do we have? 2 order blocks. Boom. And what did we get after that order block? Order block. What do we get after that? We got a bullish fair value gap. So this is already a high probability setup. You can already be like kind of taking swings. So what I think is going to happen this week is, because we're full of news, this is when like a week where I'm not usually swing trading, is that we'll likely tap into this with one of our news events this week, red folder news events, and then we'll go higher and target the bearish weekly fair value gap. Maybe the midpoint will be our next draw on liquidity. So the midpoint, and then we'll go higher from there. So that's going to be my bias that I'm going to be going into the week with. You guys let me know if you have some other confluences, some other targets. Like one of the things that I was looking at last week was this bearish IFEG. Remember, we closed below it, so running back into it, we would normally be expecting more sell side. So I'm not sure. This actually looks like it respected it. One way to know is to look at the top right here. open, high, low, close. So you can see the low of this candle right here is 2657.78. 2657.78. 2657.78. That's the low of this candle. And the high of this candle, or the close, actually, not the high, because the high came above it, but the actual close is what we're looking at. 2657.94. So clearly we did close above it and we disrespected this one. So I'm no longer going to be looking at it. That's really close though. But yeah, I'm bullish still. So I'm not going to be looking at that one. It's already pretty far into the past. We also have this bearish fair value gap, which turned into a bullish IFEG. This is why I expected market to just go higher and straight into this target without running down. And that's why I left my positions running instead of closing it. Because we disrespected it and I expected the new candle to open and start running higher. But we didn't. We literally disrespected it and then ran down anyways. So that's why December price action is known as trash. Because sometimes it just doesn't listen to anything. So I also was ignoring this one. But if we tap into it, that might be another confluence like to show you that the midpoint's going to be protected. Right? This is a balanced price range because we have a bearish fair value gap overlapping with the bullish one. So we might not even draw down there actually. But if we do, it's pretty protected. We have a order block, fair value gap, and IFEG. So 3 confluences, that's all we need. Plus time, you have 4 confluences and you're ready to go. Plus red folder day, high probability you're cooking. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. And this is what I have on the daily. So we're looking at this bullish fair value gap right here. We're looking at the bearish one up here. And we're looking at this order block. And then potentially this one just to note that it's there, but we don't necessarily need it. Because it kind of overlaps with this one. So I'm just going to stick to this one. I'm going to watch how Monday's range unfolds. Maybe Monday's range will just tap straight into it. And if that happens, then what will I be looking for? This would be a new order block. It would be a propulsion block. That's what it would be because it's a order block inside of an order block. So if that would happen, I would just probably go long from there and swing into the highs right here. So I would probably just like not look for any confirmation and I'd just swing into here. Because if it already runs up here, then it likely will not want to pull down. It has no reason to. And then I'll just look for more buy side from this bearish fair value gap. It's kind of contradicting it, but like the way that you're supposed to trade is you're supposed to expect something to happen and trade it before it happens. You kind of get into the market anticipating it to happen. And you can predict that because you have this like higher time frame narrative. And the higher time frame narrative would be this weekly fair value gap, the news that there's going to be sell side later in the month. So it's probably going to rush for buy side before we get to that news and melt off. Why might it be doing that? Because somebody out there wants to sell their gold at a premium price, right? Premium price before it drops so that they can sell all their gold at a premium price, buy it again at a discount. So if we begin to move towards sell side, what would I be looking for? We have this monthly fair value gap, and if the news is that bearish, like we're looking for that much sell side. This is the monthly time frame, by the way. Let's go to the 3 months as well. Okay, we have a 3-month fair value gap that we have yet to tap into. So that would be the drawn liquidity. 2538. Look at this. Last time it tapped into the 3-month fair value gap and respected it. And it's another one of those scenarios where we have 2 order blocks. We have that bullish move and a fair value gap inside of it. That's a high probability order block. So you can see that we barely tapped into this order block right here. The high of this order block. We barely tapped into like the actual wick of it. I mean, technically both of these candles are part of the order block range. This is just like the entry that most people use because this is how it gets respected. But usually when there's a fair value gap, like it's just a wick and the bodies are actually respecting the fair value gap. So look at this 3-month and we launched like crazy. So what do you think is going to happen if we run into another 3-month fair value gap? So we still have 2 months. Basically, we have another 3 months for this to close. The quarterly theory? Quarters would be 4 months, right? 4. I think it works that way. 3 times 4 is 12. So yeah, it does work like that. It is the quarterly theory. So we're probably going to be expecting this month, or like this 3-month candle, to tap into this thing. Why wouldn't it? So let's scale back down. If it begins to look for sell side, of course, that would be the target. This low, and which would be the high of the 3-month candle, 2535. Otherwise, this week I'm bullish. I'm looking for a buy side. I'm probably going to be entering some positions like right now into Monday's range, because like if I want to be trading stress-free before this news starts running all over the place, then now is the best time for me to do that. Obviously low risk. And then the rest of the week I'm going to be taking scalp positions from Asia session. Probably just trading my Asia session model. So yeah, if you haven't already, hop into the Discord. That's going to be it for the weekly outlook. We're just looking for like a little bit more confirmation. Either we run up, tap into this bearish for rally gap again, or we tap into this before running up. But either way, until the January 25th Trump's inauguration, I don't know how to say that. Up until this date, I'm going to be looking for buy side. That's what I'm going to be doing. If you guys have anything to say, drop it in the comments right now. If not, that's all for this stream. Thanks for hopping in there. Have a good week.